What's happening with real estate agent fees since the new real estate rules kicked in on August 17th? Are real estate agent fees on the decline? This article is going to fill you in on what's going down due to the new NAR changes, and I'll throw in a bit of history that you'll likely find quite surprising. So let's get to it. NAR rules. The recent NAR changes made by the National Association of Realtors are all about providing transparency and protection for home buyers. Here's how. Fee transparency. Buyers can now clearly see the fee they're paying to their buyer agent, which was always included in the home price, but often went unnoticed. Negotiation power. Instead of the fee being set by the home seller, home buyers now have the ability to negotiate directly with their agents. These changes are steps in the right direction, ensuring that the process is more transparent and fair. Misconceptions about buyer agents. These new rules come at a time when many home buyers and sellers are undervaluing the role of buyer agents, and they're getting excited about the possibility of lower fees. After all, with home searches just a click away, it's easy for them to think, I'm doing all the work, finding a home, and the agent just opens the door and then takes a big cut. I understand where they're coming from. Before becoming an agent, I thought the same way. And now that I'm in the business, I know that some agents really don't bring enough value to justify their fees. So sometimes I was right in my assumptions. But here's the reality. The old system didn't help. Whether an agent was exceptional or just average, they got paid the same from the seller. But now, with these new NAR changes, buyer agents have to communicate the value they bring and justify their costs. The field just got a lot tougher, and that's a good thing. Fewer mediocre agents, more value for buyers, and our reputation can increase. Before becoming an agent, part of the reason I undervalued buyer agents was because I didn't realize a few key things. That buyer agents work on contingency, that the big number on the closing statement and on their TV screens when they watch $1 million listing isn't the agent's take-home pay, or that buyer agents handle about 100 tasks for their client behind the scenes. These are all things that buyer agents out there now need to explain to home buyers. They really don't know. Need some help with that? Check out our blog and videos about real estate buyer agent consultation. By the way, I'm Carrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor and coach, and I'm with eXp Realty and the Wolfpack sponsor team. When you partner with us, you'll get more value than anyone else in the real estate business is offering. Learn more at smartagentalliance.com. Buyers avoiding buyer agents. So in my neck of the woods, and perhaps in yours too, you may have heard that while these new NAR changes are a big win for home buyers, they're also having some unintended consequences. More buyers are now approaching listing agents directly, skipping buyer agents altogether. These buyers likely don't realize what they're missing out on. A good buyer agent can save them money, reduce their risk, and give them a much better chance of landing their dream home. You know that, especially in a competitive market. And here's the kicker. Many of these DIY buyers think they're saving money, but if things are playing out where you are, the same way they are for me, listing agents are adding pretty nice hefty fee in their contracts with the seller to compensate them for doing some extra legwork that buyer agents would typically handle. Well, that's fair. Nobody should work for free, but DIY home buyers don't realize that they aren't saving what they think they're saving. History of buyer agency. So how did we get here? With all the recent lawsuits, you likely know that real estate agent fees have hovered around 5 or 6% for a long time. How long? Since the 1940s. But there was a big difference back then. Back in the day, the full 5 or 6% went to the listing agent. That's right, the listing agent pocketed the whole commission because there were no buyer agents. By the 1960s, listing agents realized they could sell more homes by offering a portion of their commission to other agents who would bring in a lot of potential buyers. These agents, known as subagents, worked under the listing agent's wing, splitting the commission in exchange for helping to market and sell the home. Less money for listing agents, sure, but also less work because sub-agents handled a lot of the tasks. This trade-off made sense for listing agents. This arrangement worked for a while, but it came with a major flaw. The sub-agents, while helping buyers, were actually representing the seller's interests, not the buyers. Even if a sub-agent never met the seller, their legal responsibility was to the home seller. This meant that buyers were often under the false impression that the agent showing them homes was working in their best interest, when in reality, they weren't. In fact, a 1983 FTC study revealed that 72% of buyers were under the false impression that the agent showing them homes were representing them. By the early 1990s, this system started to crack under pressure. More and more buyers, realizing they had been left out in the cold without proper representation, they began filing lawsuits. Sound familiar? In response to these lawsuits, the real estate industry came up with a solution: buyer agency. This new model allowed buyer agents to have a fiduciary duty to the buyer, meaning they could truly represent the buyer's best interests. And listing agents continued to split their commission with these hard-working buyer agents who helped them sell the home. Why sellers will continue to pay buyer agents. With these new NAR changes, life has become a bit easier for home sellers too. Now, sellers sign listing agreements where they're only obligated to pay their own agent's fees. This makes sense, right? But sellers can still agree through negotiation with a home buyer, during the offer process, to cover the buyer agent's fees. The big question is, will they? I believe the answer is yes. Of course they will. And here's why. Attracting buyer agents. Concept of buyer agency came about because home buyers needed real representation, but it also benefited sellers by attracting a swarm of buyer agents who helped get the house sold. That fundamental reason hasn't changed. Maximizing buyer budgets. When buyers put down larger down payments, they often qualify for lower interest rates, which saves them money and enables them to afford a more expensive home. In fact, I recently saw a statistic that said an extra $20,000 in a down payment could allow a buyer to spend an extra $100,000 on a home. Sellers want buyers to have more purchasing power, right? It just makes sense. Tax benefits. If sellers pay the buyer agent fees, it lowers their profit on paper, which can positively affect their taxes. Okay, I'm not a tax expert, but it seems there's a financial incentive for sellers to consider covering their costs. Focus on net profit. At the end of the day, sellers only care about their net profit. It doesn't matter whether they pay the buyer agent's fees or not. It's all about how much they walk away with after the sale. All this debate about whether sellers will pay is way overblown. Even those who claim they'll never pay a buyer agent's fee will change their tune when they see they can net more money from the sale by doing so. As always, sellers will go with the offer that gives them the best terms and the highest net profit. Whether that includes a buyer agent's fee is just part of the math equation. Will the new rules lead to lower prices? First off, they have already gone down before these changes. That is, as the president of the National Association of Realtors said, the quote, average commission in the US fell to a new low of 4.94% in 2020. So fees already dropped since those online searches became the norm after 2008. Will fees drop even more? My guess, not much. For listing agents, nothing has changed, except for getting that extra unrepresented buyer fee. So I don't expect anything to shift there. As for full service buyer agents, we'll probably keep charging 2.5% to 3%, especially because on average, we spend twice as much time per client than listing agents do. If we aren't paid enough, it just doesn't make sense for us to stay in the game. Buyers who want to save a buck can always go for discount agents. But if you're talking to people, you should let them know that they're likely sacrificing service quality. What's the evidence of that? Discount agents have been around for over a decade, and they haven't taken over the industry. Discount is code for less service. However, the rise of unrepresented buyers might lower overall fees slightly, but not by 2.5% to 3%. Those unrepresented buyers will once again, just like back in the days when the listing agent made the whole 5% to 6%, be paying for the listing agent to cover some of the work a buyer agent would normally do. And those buyers won't be getting all the advantages of a buyer agent. I wouldn't be surprised if soon we see a wave of new lawsuits from unrepresented buyers who didn't fully fully understand the cost of going it alone or the risks of being taken advantage of, potentially by a listing agent. But that's fair. Sounds a lot like the 1990s all over again. So, while I don't foresee a significant drop in agent fees, these changes are a huge win for homebuyers. They now have a clear understanding of what they're paying for, and buyer agents need to step up and clearly explain the value they bring to the table. Agents who can't or won't do that will likely find themselves out of business, which is ultimately a great thing for the reputation of real estate agents in this profession. So hang in there, communicate your value, and get ready for your greatest success ever. If you're interested in knowing more about the only profitable brokerage in the last 5 years or the unmatched value of Wolfpack and Smart Agent Alliance, check out our other videos, which should be showing right now. And don't forget to subscribe. It helps motivate us. Thank you for watching and have a great day.